Very good morning to you. It's Tuesday, the 8th of January. I'm Clemency Burton-Hill. Welcome to News Hub on WSJ Live. Now, the Consumer Electronics Show hits Las Vegas this week, revealing the no doubt fantastical gadgets that soon we'll all be wondering how we ever lived without. Our WSJ reporter Kelly Grant is there in Vegas. She's been checking it all out so far. It doesn't actually start yet, Kelly, does it?
But it has not started yet. We've got until about 10 a.m. Vegas time, but we've seen a lot of the preview events over the past couple of days, a lot of interesting gadgets coming out of that.
So what have you seen?
Well, I mean, the way that you would think, looking around all this, lots of health, lots of fitness gadgets, but it seems like the gadget to have, at least they're trying to convince us, is this thing called a pulse oximeter. It measures your blood oxygenation level. I think I've seen about 10 of them,
Wow.
And I'm still not convinced that anyone really needs one, but they certainly seem to think we all are going to want one.
What is behind the blood oxygen? I mean, what are the big concerns there? Is that about...
If you're a pilot, apparently there's the risk of hypoxia. If you have sleep apnea, you might want one of these. They're, pretty specific needs. And, in the end, when I'm talking to a lot of these vendors, they're saying like, well, if you're an elite athlete, you're going above certain altitudes. So I guess, they expect all of us are going to be climbing Mount Everest this year.
It seems to have a slightly less wide appeal than, say, the iPod. Any other great consumer gadgets, electronic gadgets that you've seen so far?
Well, seeing a lot of the different fitness bands that also track health, some interesting stuff in there, of course, and they're all trying to convince you that they're the more accurate version. We saw something that I talked a little bit about yesterday called the Happy Fork, that is a vibrating fork that tries to help you eat more slowly. So just, some really unusual stuff there. Everyone's trying to get something interesting.
Tell us about this Scanadu development.
So this is another one of those health trackers. It's modeled after the Star Trek tricorder is their marketing gimmick, and it's this tiny little coin-sized device that you put against your forehead for 10 seconds, and you come away with 5 different metrics on how you're doing, including your temperature, that all important, apparently, the pulse oximeter, and your pulse, of course, as well. And that's something that's $150, going to be available later this year.
I love that we're looking to Star Trek to model our actual health apps. Do you think there's been a real shift then from this idea that consumer electronics are mostly about entertainment and about making our lives easier to this kind of health emphasis?
I think really the health emphasis has been something that's very interesting, because people are very interested in all of this sort of data, and we've seen that people like to track all of it, and this is an easy way to have that done, and then have it done in such a way that you're not really writing anything down, but that you have this great record to then go and talk to your doctor about whatever you feel might be a concern.
Another huge trend, of course, that we're seeing is in terms of in the web TV space and how people are streaming all the time. Tell us about MGO.
Well, they're aiming to be a Netflix competitor. They've said that pretty much right out of the box. They are web only right now, but they are working on partnerships. They have a number of partnerships with some of the different new smart TVs that are coming out, and they've got partnerships with a lot of the big studios, and they say that the real thing that differentiates them, they have about 6,000 titles right now, but if you go there and they don't have something, they will tell you where you can find that streaming online. So they say that's what's going to make them be the first stop shop for many consumers, because they assume that if they've got it, great. If they don't, then at least you don't have to check 4 or 5 other different services or sites to figure it out.
Do we know what kind of price point they'll be offering that service?
They're varying that a lot. It seems to be, sort of per show or movie right now that you're renting, that similar model to Amazon rather than Netflix with that flat monthly fee. And they say they're going to have a lot of coupon codes to knock down the price.